This session brought to you by Odyssey Games for pre-orders and sealed product, CCG Prime for tons of singles and supplies, Cardo Doko for international rulers looking for products, and fowlibrary.com for articles and wonderful deck lists, as well as our guest lecturer members King Pearlshine, Vite Ramen. Class is in session.
4 on the floor, rulers.
Hey there, rulers! Welcome back after a long week of Force of Will to your favorite ever live Force of Will podcast. It's Office Hours featuring myself, TMO73, and I'm joined as always by Paul Reisman.
4 on the floor, rulers.
And Mike Rance.
Truly, only shooting stars break the mold.
Truly. Poor one.
Smash Mouth.
We are here to finish spoilers tonight. But before we get into that, just a few bits of housekeeping. If you haven't already, go ahead and check out Odyssey Games to see if they still have product available for this set. Hopefully they do. If they don't, good luck, because this set is going to be really well sought after, and I think it's going to be well worth picking up. So you should also be sure to try to pick up boxes where you can. Talk to your local store. Also, you can find information down below to get signed up for the September 16th Ruler School Discord event. It is the last chance to earn FowFest prize wall points before FowFest, so consider checking that out. And you'll be competing for one of the 8 Imaginary God of the Fallen playmats that we have for that event. You can also check out all the information for FowFest down in the description below. It's coming up. It's just under 2 months away at this point in time. It's going to be an absolute blast of a weekend. You can find all the information in the description, as including how to get reserved for your hotel room, which we hope you'll stay on site. It'll make it so much easier to play in the event all weekend long. Paul doesn't know how to read cards from my reunion deck, Reisman. There you go. That's true. That's Paul.
Technically, that's not my last name, so
there you go.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. Paul got detention because he didn't read. That's fair. So we're going to jump right into some spoilers. You see that I have Wicked Spirit of the Malefic Tree pulled up here on the screen. I told these guys we were going to start with white, and then I forgot that this is the one that I already had pulled up. So we're jumping into this one first. We have Wicked Spirit. Well organized. We have Wicked Spirit of the Malefic Tree, 2 green, 2 black, 10/10. You can play it from your removed area. As you play it, you may choose to unreveal 2 Seven Kings rulers revealed from outside the game, and unreveal them. If you do, it only costs you 1 darkness to play this card instead. And on enter, you draw a card, and your opponent discards 2 cards. This card is insane. Just gonna say,
this thing is real good.
Like, absolutely, like, because this is the Dark Tree deck, like, these are just going to incidentally go into your RFG, and the deck is going to want to reveal 7 Kings anyway and find ways to unreveal them to get effects again. So, like mandatory 4 of in Seabin decks, it feels like. This card is absolutely bonkers.
I mean, definitely needs to be a mandatory 4 of, because you need 60 good cards in that deck to work with Yggdrasil, so, you know.
Also true.
The one thing that I want to point out about this card is that it is a Wicked Spirit, and we did just get those nice new Majin Subjugation promos.
That is true.
So
we did get Majin Subjugation promos.
I'm going to be turning some 2-drops into a draw card, and your opponent discards 2 cards. I wish it was you could look, but you can't, which means this card is significantly worse than it could be, but that's fine.
Yeah. Majin Subjugation, like... Majin Subjugation and 2-drop to get this guy is, like, not a joke. Like, absolutely a great, like, idea for playing even outside of a tree deck. That being said, like, we do have a lot of stuff that, like, punishes... There is stuff in existence that punishes opponent choice discard. Like, if your opponent discards it, they get some value off of it. So that is something to keep in mind with this guy. But having this kind of... This is just a really nice, like, replacement for, like... just a decent body for Dark Tree that it can, like, get aggressive with, and, like, it's another threat for it. And it's also just Seabin in general, I think, is going to rely more on the 7 Kings reveals than Lenneth is, because Lenneth has, like, the filtering. So, like, Lenneth can, like, use her hand more effectively than I think Seabin can. So being able to recycle the 7 Kings for more Seabin effects, I think, is going to be good for him. And so this card helps with that.
Yes.
Basically,
yeah. We've done the analysis at this point. I'm going to come here and say yes. Card good.
That's fine.
Card
Let's go ahead and just
very
jump
good.
over to the Lenneth variant of this card because it's very cool. They got a lot of mirrored cards against each other. We have World Tree Phoenix, 2 white, 2 red, Phoenix flying that you can pay it from your graveyard. Has that same unreveal effect for 1 white. At Inheritance, pay 1 white, you gain 1,000 life. Inheritance, pay 1 red. This card deals 600 damage to player or J/Resonator. Also, just a great
Inheritance
card.
is back, everyone.
And yeah,
Inheritance is back.
new main set non-reprint Inheritance.
Wow. Not in the colors for Inheritance Varia, but that's okay. We'll take it.
I mean,
That's
red,
fine.
green, white is probably an Inheritance
could,
Varia.
Yeah.
You could still discard this and then get it back.
It's
with
barely
the
a critique
Varia
at
draw.
all, if anything.
Yeah,
Card's
if
very
anything.
good.
This card is very, very good. I like it a lot.
Also, very importantly, the Inheritance red and dealing 600 damage stuff that gets around things that prevent you from playing spells that has, that 600 mark as a 1 cost. Like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, this is very good. Yeah, this is a very good card. Both of these cards are very, very nice. Faria plus the Lumia Stone. Yeah, it's pretty obvious that you can play red, white, green Inheritance Faria with this card. And yeah, Faria can also just discard it and draw cycle with it for a dead card.
So just discard this card, draw a card, discard this card, get 10 life, discard this card, deal 6 of damage to something. Seems pretty good to me.
Yeah. Eris, are we getting that Inheritance change they hinted at with the DBV Giants getting retconned with Inheritance? So one thing to note is that in the ABC decks, there is also a Fallen Angel of Black Tears, the one that is the discard angel, that also got retconned to Inheritance. So like probably going to see like a CR or maybe even like a Q&A document in this next set that will say like, here's how that's changing, and these are now being retconned to Inheritance. So So keep that in mind. That's just nice in general.
That would be amazing.
This card is also just gorgeous. Like, it's just good. And it's going in the cube. I think it's like one of the only cards from this set that I'm putting in the cube is this card specifically.
That's the Faria card. Literally, shut up, Steven.
You're not wrong.
It's not incorrect. Just shut up, though.
If that's how it's being changed.
If that happens,
yeah,
man, like there's a whole new card pool for Faria now.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Discard Ray for Glorious, Judgment Faria, use Izanami for free, and bring back Raymond for free. Ray Astable for free. Oof. I'm here for it.
Gross.
Will you have an updated cube list before FowFest? Yeah, the cube will get updated to be played at FowFest because I'll bring the cube. But I always am involved somehow in the cube drafts at FowFest, so just keep that in mind. Oh! Actually, this is huge. We have a lot of people here. You got me interested. Speaking of FowFest, I have very, very big news for FowFest. We are being provided with 50 ABC starter decks for FowFest directly to us. So this is on top of whatever we can get TCG Prime and Odyssey Games to bring. We will have 50 ABC starter decks ready to hand out to players at FowFest. Now, because that's about half of our expected attendance, we recognize that we're trying to break 100, but at the same time, so we're encouraging people who can build ABC decks to please bring ABC decks, but we will have ABC decks available for people to play ABC. And what we might also do is like take chunks of them, like to start with, to say like these are the house ABC decks, right? To say like so that we can just continually just fire off pods using maybe like the same 4 decks, to just have people be able to fire off. But we will have them available for players at FowFest to use, so, and give to you. So thank you, iSpy, for that. I'm very grateful for that. Yeah, that's very, 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 very awesome. So very excited to be able to announce that we will have access to FowFest, ABC decks at FowFest. It's going to be huge. So, okay, let's go, before we go into more multicolor cards, let's jump all the way back to white. And we have a Fairy Soldier, 3 white and 1 void fairy with swiftness, flying, and drain. 10/10. As you play this card, you can reveal up to 3 recovered, rest up to 3 recovered fairy Jace less resonators you control. Pay 1 white less to play this card for each fairy rested. And on enter, put 2 +1/+1s on each fairy that made it cheaper. So Titania 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Seems pretty decent.
Card is really solid, and also it's a shame we don't have Tea Party to make this quick cast.
Yeah, Tea Party can stay gone with this card.
Yeah,
just play Unexpected Visitor. We're fine.
Flying, swiftness, drain. Give all my dudes +2/+2 for doing a good job and letting me come out. Card's amazing.
This
Great job, little buddy. Great job, little buddy.
Aggression
Great job, little buddy.
randomly.
Yeah, this is a very cool card to bring into it, and it always costs at least 1. Thank you for the design of having that void tack on there, so that you can't just make it free.
Yeah, we would want to have an accidental Gwyber on our hands.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, because of the swiftness and drain. Yep. Absolutely. Titania. I think Titania and this card both have a place in the like fairy aggro deck.
Absolutely.
Very much so. Especially since you're probably playing the fairy Memoria, so you just don't care about the color. Like, man, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the block wall rested resonator to really just shine with this one now, huh?
Oh, that's true. Isn't that a fairy as well?
It's literally a 2/3 flying fairy.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
It was made for Titania. Fairy Soldier so happens to be able to just kind of get a little bit of
good. That's so good.
Is that Queen's Envoy?
Yeah, I think it's Queen's Envoy.
Yeah, this card can block while rested.
That's awesome. I like that.
Your boy has a deep, vast memory of all the obscure garbage cards from BFA. Unfortunately,
hey, it's okay. Next up, we have
this
Hyde's.
Is one of those rare situations in which that card will be really useful.
Yeah, this is Hyde's Help. It's another ninjutsu. 1 white, quick cast with Remnant. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to J rulers you control until end of your opponent's turn. So keep that in mind. If you cast it during your turn, it's 2 turns worth of protection. Do this option only if play this card from your hand. And then you gain 1,000 life and draw a card if you play it from a zone other than your hand. So that means the ninjutsu area or from your graveyard. So I really like the fact that they designed this to get both effects regardless of who you're playing it with, because of the remnant element. But overall, this is just a really, really cool card.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. This feels in a lot of ways like a sideboard card for me right now, especially in Hyde. It's really cool to see the space opening up, though, because I was like, oh my gosh, we got a ninjutsu card.
Yeah, I'm really happy that... I'm very happy to see... I'm just very happy to see the phrase zone other than your hand instead of your Shinobi EX area. Because I feel like that opens up so much more design space and like really just showcases what you can do with that design space and just kind of make it more interesting and versatile and give, more options than play this in Hyde or don't and die.
Yeah, for sure.
It's also another tool in the Charlotte package, right? So because you're casting it from your side deck, you get an extra draw, extra 1,000.
It's not a zone from your hand. That's really neat.
True.
That's a good one.
That is a really cool card.
Choose to put it in your graveyard and just do it again, right?
That's also true. Very similarly to how the old, like Tea Party, you choose where it goes on resolution, so you could choose to send it to graveyard as opposed to back to side deck. So you can get double dipping off of this card.
You can double dip.
Yeah, very cool card. Also, a gorgeous card. Again, I've said this many times. The artwork for this set has just been absolutely like top notch. Every single card has been just like knocking it out of the park. Yeah.
Is this the first time we've seen Hyde's mouth?
Yes,
I think so. Canon.
That's a good question. That's a good element, Steven. That Steven does bring up is the sideboard isn't a zone, so is that legal? We'll need to get a clarification. If it works, then I think it's very good. I still think it's worth sideboarding though. It's a very cool card.
Absolutely.
This artwork as well. Just gals being pals, man. They're just really, really good friends. That's all this
for
is.
sure.
Don't anybody in chat get any ideas. Eris, don't even think about it. They're just really good friends. They're
They're
just
really good
gals being
friends.
pals, right?
Exactly.
Next up, we're gonna jump into fire. We have World's Tree Dragon, a
I am
super
going to
rare.
jump into fire. Oops. Anyway.
One red 3/3 flyer that gains +2/+2. Enter, reveal a 7 kings, and then you can pay 1 red, draw a card, then discard a card, deal 200 damage multiplied by X to one target J/Resonator, where X is the number of 7 kings you control, revealed outside the game. It doesn't have ones per turn. This is the best 7 kings 1-drop revealer. Hands down, this is the best 7 kings 1-drop revealer. This card is so insanely good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that it doesn't burn your opponent's base.
Yes, God, thank goodness.
It's so good.
Isn't this also just like a 5/5 flyer on summon anyway? Just from the enter effect?
Yeah, 5/5 flyer for 1.
Seems all right.
That has like upgraded fire breathing in a sense, because it can just board clear and cycle. Like, this card has so many applications for being able to cycle. And you consider. Well, the other thing too is, like, think about, like, boy staring at, when it's discarded by an effect, you draw a card. Boy. So like pay one red, draw a card, discard boy staring at, draw another card off of that, and burn something for 200 damage. Okay.
Sure. Plus, you can search this with Bahamut as well. Like, on the Fault Gold side, you can search for this. It kind of retroactively supports Fushi, right?
Oh, you know what? I actually would consider playing. Strangely enough, I would consider playing this card in K1 Baja, because I can search it with Baja off the top and have like some good board control. That's not my face downs, which is like honestly pretty solid.
And also, if you're doing that strategy, you don't necessarily need more than like 3 or 4 7 kings removals in your sideboard to make it a decent card.
Absolutely. Like, that's honestly pretty cool. That makes me want to revisit K1 Baja.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that we're getting to the point now where, like, especially some of these supers where they reveal a 7 kings from your sideboard and they get stats and do an additional effect. Like, that kind of does what Origins did for us before, but it really does limit kind of like what your sideboard is allowed to do, right?
Yeah.
You have to include these like 6 or 7 bricks in your sideboard, but they give you additional effects.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, if you want to like go heavy into
decks
it,
if you want them to.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting to me.
Yeah, it's a really cool like hybridization of, like, you can play like a 3, like you said, 3 7 kings package for like these like little tiny tools that you're like playing around with, or you could lean really heavy into the package, but it costs you some of your sideboard to like make good, which I think that's fine.
Which means I think we forgot a card, Jeremy.
Which one did we forget?
The Mermaid.
We did. Well, Mermaid was covered by the official company, so we're not covering that.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, it just has barrier. It has barrier or whatever colors are revealed. Oh, you have to target this card.
It's Lightning Rod Mermaid without the barrier trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we covered that one.
I didn't realize they did. Interesting.
We did. Yeah, that was when they spoiled on the official. It was Fairy, Fairy Mermaid, and the extension roll. The Fairy extension roll was what they showed on the official channel. Yeah, Rustin. ABC Loner decks being at FowFest will be good. Yeah, we'll probably take like 1 pack of the 5 and sleeve them up, so that at any point in time we can just run a 4-person like ABC trial pod for like people to try. That's probably how we'll handle that, at least for the start. And then like at the end of the event, we'll hand out the 5.
Sorry, Rigby was crying.
All good, Rigby. Next up, we have Temporal Hydrangea. 1 blue flower. Banish this card. Return target non-Magic Stone, non-J-Ruler entity to its owner's hand. Okay. Like, just go will positive on a bounce. Because it's also both players' sides, right? So that's other things to consider. It's like the flexibility of it is kind of insane. But this is very good. Especially when you give it quick
It's also a really
cast.
good Falchion card in the sense that, like, I have this like really good disruption tool that's also a 1 cost. So like there's might be like some value to a Justice build now.
Yeah, for sure. This makes Contract also potentially a removal spell that's like an actual removal as opposed to when you were doing Missile Pod, which wasn't like necessarily able to clear the board as much as you want. This card's very, very good. Flowers are okay until you remember they'll also be 1,000. Yes, they won't be murdering you.
With flying that have pseudo quick cast.
Not quick cast and doesn't draw a card 0 out of 10 on the Ryan Miles scale. That's a fair point.
That's incredibly correct.
That's fair. Fair point. Next up, we have Spirit of Storms, a spirit support. Shout out to spirits, I guess. 3 green, 1,000, flying barrier. Enter, draw a card. When this card is put into the field from your deck, destroy up to 2 non-Magic Stone entities. I think this card has me terrified of Prisia Big Show decks.
Yes.
Like, this turns Prisia into a, like, I put 2 not necessarily terrified in the thing that it's suddenly like the meta, but the fact that now Prisia can just be hard spot removal is like, oh, I don't like that.
I'm less scared, Jeremy. This one definitely feels like a normal, only because
Prisia
getting Tinkerbell out of the deck scares me way more than this card ever could. Just
that's a fair
out.
point. That's a fair point.
Saying.
Prisia does the same kind of thing, I guess, in the same sense.
Yeah.
Prisia Big Show promo win.
Prisia ban win.
Yeah. Anyway, can you imagine if that's the October promo? That would be so sick.
Oh my gosh,
that would be so sick.
So
especially if we can get October
really well with
promos.
Spirit Ring as well. In the sense that like you can actually it doesn't matter that it works with Spirit Ring because it has to be cast from the deck.
Yeah,
and if it's not cast from the deck, there's no benefit from it. But I mean, it's another spirit support. Yeah. But then it's like it's got flying and barrier, and it's a 10/10, which is like
not a bad card.
Green doesn't have removal, so like this card is really good.
Yeah, there's something about this set, I think, as a whole, as we look at this card, that like there's very few things about this set that make me go, oh, this is just far and away better than everything we've seen up to this point, like every set before it, right? But also, like, it's not bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's not bad cards. Like, it's good cards, but it's, like, keeping in power level with where we kind of already are. And it's more, like, widening the power base as opposed to spiking the power base. And I really like that about this set. Some of the people in our play group don't like that fact about this set. Love you, buddy. But, I don't know. I just really like the design of this set overall. It's been really solid. Speaking of really solid, look at this tiny little cute spider.
Spooter.
This is Hyde Spying Spider. He's adorable. 1 black, 4/4. Whenever a resonator you control is destroyed, put 2+1/+1 counters on this card. Remove 2+1/+1 counters on this card. Target J/resonator gains -2/2 until end of turn. This is a normal.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. It might be honestly, this might go in the cube as like a cheeky little 1-cost darkness card. It might replace. I honestly might replace Slime with this for like a 1 black, because Slime has kind of put some pressure on the cube in the early game that I don't necessarily like. Last time we tried it, but this feels like a similar kind of like slot. Yeah, it's like a jumping.
This for me definitely feels like a normal, in that a resonator you control has to be destroyed.
Yeah.
Right? For you to get those +2/+2 counters.
The numbers are also small when a better card would have number big.
Yeah, the numbers are small. That's the only thing I would say. I mean, like it's a fun draft card. I don't see this making huge impacts. I'm personally not gonna probably use this card very much because also it's a spider that Hyde can use, but it doesn't have the same utility as the other spiders.
Yeah.
What I could do though is put this into Oborozuki and then generate a bunch of +1/+1 counters on it, and then use them to -2/-2 something, and then impact the board not even remotely at all on turns 1 and 2, which will be great.
Yeah, we did it. We did it, boys.
Loissimo, we did it.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we're gonna go into Lonely Decampment. 1 red, 1 white, quick cast. Only if you control Lenneth. You may reveal the 7 kings from outside the game. Blah 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 blah. Draw a card. If you have 3 or more 7 kings you own revealed, you draw 3 cards instead. So this is the replacement. This is the like opposite of like the ominous wind. The like draw a card, recover 2 stones. This is you get to draw 3 cards.
And just like the other one.
No, sorry. It's just reveal. Sorry, the other one is just recover 2 stones and reveal. And if you have 3 or more, then you draw a card. This one is cheaper, always draws you a card and gets a reveal, and potentially draws you 3 cards. I don't hate it, but it feels like there are other things that could be played in the Lenneth deck.
Yeah, this is like 2. A card that fills out the list.
Costs 2 for
but
draw
quick
3.
Cast.
Yeah. I'd just rather be playing Conclave at that point. Honestly, you're in the same colors.
Yeah. I think it's because I think the biggest fact is it's an incidental reveal that replaces itself. Like and is quick cast.
I'm not I'm not sold, I would say.
I'd say max 2 copies just to like refill your hand if you're like really stretching for it, but that's it. I mean, you can't even splash it in other decks because you have to use it with Lenneth, so it's fine. It just feels like I'm filling out the deck and I need this to
for Lenneth. For Lenneth, there feels to me to be this element of Lenneth more than Sebin, because Lenneth has doesn't have the make a token copy thing.
Or the good colors.
Hold your thoughts. Lenneth, I think, is going to be much more like flipping the first few faster that are off color from what she's playing against. Like Lenneth is going to want to get the ones that are not the colors she's playing against revealed quickly, I think. And cards like this, I feel like, help that, right? Because, Rage, which we'll talk about in a minute, Fire, or like the Blaze, the fairy generator, those are ones that like want matching color, but like this and fairy, the token generator and stuff like that don't really care what color you reveal. So it's like, oh, I'm playing against blue, green, black. I'm going to try to reveal red and white, Melgus, Faria, Arla as fast as possible just to get them out of the way, right? And so Lonely Decampment and the token generator feel like things that could do that don't feel bad to cast. And so, like Paul said, probably like a 2 of in the deck, especially since Lenneth can filter for free. So like if I draw a bad card, Lenneth can then just filter it away. Is probably fine. Dragon should flip the off color. Fairy and kill spells should reveal your matchup's color. Yeah, I'd agree. That's one thing, Steven, to point up is the fact that like you said, see it in your hand early when it's not super great. Just filter it away with Lenneth. See it later, great. That does affect a lot of her like card value, is the fact that she just gets a filter every turn.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Rage. The fact that this is quick cast is honestly, this card is bonkers. The fact that it can't be canceled at its quick cast. 1 white, 1 red, only playable with Lenneth, cannot be canceled. Reveal a 7 Kings ruler from outside the game. Doesn't share a name. Keep it revealed. Destroy all non-magic stone entities your opponent controls that share an attribute with the ruler revealed this way. I'm playing this as at least 3 of, if not 4 of, in my Lenneth deck. The fact that it hits Additions, Regalia, Jade Rulers, Resonators, and can't be canceled. Sold.
Really funny thing about this card. It didn't need the non-magic stone entities clause on it because magic stones don't have attributes.
That's also that's fair.
Yeah,
that's a fair point.
A funny little thing, but
that is fair.
That's future proofing.
That's future proofing. Yeah.
Like,
well, technically sorry, that's not entirely true, actually, Mike. We do have ways to give Magic Stones attributes. Painter Gears.
it's banned.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh yeah, but Painter's Gears is banned. But future proofing, like Paul said, it's a future proof.
Yeah, sure. Once we start getting those dual color stones that have attributes, whatever. Anyway,
it would be a really interesting design space though to see Magic Stones with an attribute be like relegated to a particular archetype. That'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
I'd make sure this card wouldn't destroy them.
Yeah.
Well, also don't the Magic Stone animators give attributes to stones when they animate? Gruus Palesta's secret technique.
I think it does. I think it makes a Wind Darkness. Hang on.
I think it makes them an attribute. Go check for us.
But hear me out. That sounds like a funny strategy, and I wish they had kept that in.
Nope.
Form
becomes a 10/10 resonator with swiftness until end of turn.
Though doesn't have an attribute.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
It's a cool design space though. Okay, we got one more card. We got two more cards to talk about. We got one more Lenneth card, which is the opposite of the Sebin card. This is Inheritor of the Star Legacy. 1 white, 1 red, 14. 2 less for every 7 kings you rule and reveal against the game. Can't be discarded. Draw 4 cards. Gain 4 grand. Put up to 4 non-chant cards from your hand into the field. Until end of game, J/Resonators you control gain Eternal. I'm taking 3. I want to take 3 extra turns in a row when resolving this card. I'm going to put double Alice's World Final Stance into the field with this card. Just one time. Just one time. So I get to take 3 extra turns after this.
You must banish me. Otherwise, I'm not going to die.
In the next 3 turns. So here's the thing that I'm going to put into play off of this card every time in this deck. Alice. Avatar Alice, Alice's World, Final Stance. Every single time. So I'm going to put an unkillable Alice into the field and say, I get to take 3 more turns after this one. You're going to die. And then, by the way, I'm going to randomly put this flower back in my hand. I'm going to play the bounce my Alice's World back to my hand to play a second copy of this card and take another turn after it. This card is literally just like, you just win, much like Sebin's card. Like, if you resolve it, you should be winning the game.
I think this is the closest we got to Neat actually being a canon card.
Yeah.
Wait, that Force World card that's like Force World the movie with all the attributes on it, is that an addition?
No, it's also not usable.
Damn it! All right, I'm trying to cheat in useless cards. Give me a second.
Yeah,
here.
but this is the most like it is essentially. But again, I think there's an inherent better, like as much as Sebin's feels like it maybe is a better effect. I do think Inheritor of the Star Legacies in some ways is a stronger card because of the fact that Lenneth can just filter it away if it's dead in hand and find it later, right? Sebin has no way to get that card out of his hand once it hits there. Lenneth can go like, I don't want this right now, and just tuck it. So I think that inherently provides a better, skill for Lenneth on this card.
But I do also think that Lenneth doesn't want to be like turbo revealing the rulers the same way that Sebin wants to, which makes this inherently a little bit slower. That's my thought process.
Yeah,
at least.
I think it is. I think it is slower, but I think Lenneth. I honestly think Lenneth more than Sebin will get to 7 revealed. Because I think she has less. I think she has less motivation to unreveal them than Sebin does. Right?
Yeah.
And so
because of the Wicked Spirit card, right?
Yeah, I think she has inherently less motivation to unreveal than Sebin. And so she's going to get to 7 and stabilize comfortably and be okay stopping. Whereas Sebin feels like he's going to want to be constantly flipping back down, flipping back up. Slower, but still just a game ender. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, Steven I have the best idea. You can cheat in 4 trucks out of your hand with this card.
You can cheat in 4 trucks out of your hand with this card.
4 Prego, ladies.
My only problem with this card
Perfect.
is the fact that I believe Muse staring at still just stops it.
Unless you Giga Chat move like I just said in chat.
And pay a full 16. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to read Malefic Tree because I believe it says no players can gain life, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, you don't gain the 4,000 if you're playing against Tree. Players cannot gain life. But you're still drawing 4 cards, putting 4 bodies in, and doing whatever you want for the rest of the game.
So, like, especially, like, in decks that aren't, like, facing off against Zeben, right? Like, if you're playing this against any other deck, you're going to get that life gain, which is kind of just... it's gravy, right?
Yeah, for sure. Can I say my one, as much as this is a Wednesday card art, and I absolutely love it, can I tell you my one complaint with this card? Is that I feel like the layout of the card puts Lenneth just a tiny bit too low in the, like, framework of the artwork to be able to translate this into a playmat. And I'm so mad. I just feel like the shot composition has Alice just a little bit too high to make this into a playmat, and it bothers me so much because if I could, 100% would be the first quarterly kit playmat of 2024. Like, hands down, this would be the first
vertical playmat. Now we're talking.
I could do a vertical on it. I have thought about that because there have been people who like the verticals, right? And we've done those before.
Yeah.
They also look really nice on camera when you're like feature
that's what I was gonna say.
So it's like I could do it as a vertical mat, and they would probably look good. Like the Seaman one, I think works as a horizontal mat, but this one I think could work as a vertical mat because it's just such a good piece of card art. It's so good.
It's such a good piece of card art.
Or a 2-player playmat. That's true. I could do it as a 2-player one potentially.
That's sick,
that would
actually.
look,
like
that would look really
that'd
nice.
Be very good.
I don't know, Jeremy. Just hit up your boy Wednesday and just tell him to edit it just a little bit so it's perfect.
Yeah, just like edit. No, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna ask for this card art. It's gonna get sent to me, and then I'm gonna find out that they sent me each individual layer so that I can move it around. And I'm just gonna go, just adjust the framework.
Your head is going to be at the second button from the top, and we're good.
But Jeremy, if anybody can do that, it's 100% you, because you have the end not only with Wednesday, but also the company.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Look for the first. Look for the first playmat of the 2024 kit cycle right here from this card. It's absolutely, jeez Louise, it's so good. This card art is so beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I've seen it full art. Just like, it's so good.
Wow,
so good.
Yes.
Somebody in the community just like take Jeremy's face and like just Photoshop it onto Lenneth's body, and then print that map.
Here, let me try to hold my put. Okay, here we go. If I just did this,
Jeremy got some tickle bitties on that artwork.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that, please. We got one more card art. We got one more card to talk about. The other extension rule. This is New Lands Fairy Tale, a chapter of betrayal. It's the extension rule that gives Valentina 2 and Dark Alice tag Betrayer, and has God's Art, the final betrayal for 14. If you can, at resolution, if you control a J ruler named the Overlord of the Seven Lands Valentina and a J ruler named Dark Alice Maiden of Slaughter, this card gains at the next end of turn, you win the game. Play this ability only during your turn, and only if you play its activation cost with will produced by Regalia you control. Can we talk about how, once again, in the long history of Force of Will's alternate win cons, this is unplayable? Like, the alternate
100%.
win con is...
No,
like, the alternate...
is the worst. This is the worst card I've ever seen.
The alternate win con is unplayable garbage. Like, don't get me wrong, you can build the deck in such a way that if you absolutely Hail Mary it, sometimes you can get there. But, honestly, the big benefit of the fact is that Val 2 and Dark Alice have tag, right? Because it's nice to be able to just like let them call stone with one and judgment with the other. It does actually boost Valentina 2 a lot to have a partner, specifically because we have setting the stage of Providence. Like, that's a big piece for her.
Too, pretty Yeah, that's
pretty
kind of big.
consistently. Yeah, especially with setting the stage of Providence, right? Getting those 7
and Dark Elves really fits in with Rizard's God's Art, because once you kill everything, you can start moving things from the grave, and you just really start hammering that whole point
Yeah,
in.
for sure. Like the God's Art to win the game is a meme. The deck of playing Val 2 and Dark Alice together actually is pretty interesting. Yeah. And I've been playing it a little bit already. Obviously, we don't have the full ban list, but Paul can attest that like the version 1 of the deck already had some legs to it, and then we started to like already improve it from there. We're gonna feature it on the channel. It's probably gonna be one of the first ones we play for the channel. It's honestly a lot of fun, and a pretty cool deck idea too.
So, because this is a God's Art, I know you and I were talking about this a little bit. Because this God's Art does not belong to Valentina 2, this doesn't get the cost reduction of things like Excalibur the God Sword or anything like
Origins.
that.
Or Origins. Yeah, nope, it doesn't. Doesn't get any kind of discount.
We're playing 14 Magic Stones. Got it.
Well, the other thing is you can
Regalia.
You can use Regalia Beast is a Regalia that Val2 can search. Deep Blue is a Regalia that you can pitch other copies of to do it. It is a God's Art, so you can use things like Lover's Lock to produce will for it, or Mariabella type 0 to produce will for it, or pitching another Excalibur. Like, you can get to 14 will without having to play 10 stones. That's not what you're doing in the deck. You're like turbo flipping Val 2 and then getting advantage from there. That's kind of the whole purpose of it. And you have this like backup strat in the fact of like, if your opponent starts to go wide, then you're just going to flip Dark Alice and clear the board that way. It's a fun deck. I like it a lot.
Yeah, that's all I got.
You're excited for which Origins? No, I will not elaborate. Hey, Turbo Origins of the Seven Lands is possible. We have Raise and Revive and Rhea and Brunhild and stuff like that. It may or may not be in the deck. It is. It's in the deck. So it's neat. It's a cool card. It's a meme, but it's fun. And that's it. That's the full set. Overall, so we've talked about every single card in this set. So let's do this. Having seen the set, and you can care to elaborate on your score and why you came to that score. Giving this set a score of 1 to 10, where would you put this set score-wise?
This is like an 8 for me.
An 8? Okay. Care to elaborate while Paul thinks about his number?
I will elaborate by saying that a lot of the cards in the set don't just fuel themselves. That's something I've always hated about a lot of recent Force Will cards. A lot of them just feel like they just have their own like self-created like win condition within themselves. Like if you let them survive, they will win the game on their own. The set feels like you have to be playing a geared strategy. You have to think 4 turns ahead in order to understand what your next play is going to be in your own head, and then figure out what the lines are when your opponent starts playing.
Sure.
That's something I really enjoy about Force of Will. Something I enjoyed since the beginning of Force of Will. Because like every card in the initial first 4 sets of Force of Will, no cards were ever just in like a win condition on their own. They left unchecked unless they just attacked you 5 times unblocked.
Yeah, for sure. I would argue that like Electra is the most like standalone kill you card, but she's designed in such a way that because she costs 4, you said like. Yeah, you can just slam pay for Electra, win the game, but like she's better when you're like actually thinking of how you support her with the rest of stuff, right? So yeah, for sure, I see that. I'm not talking, and let me put this right. I'm talking purely for the chat's purpose. I'm purely talking about the 100 cards in this set. I'm not talking about like product design, the reprint packs or whatever. I'm talking about Clash of the Star Trees cards, because I'll tell you what,
okay.
if I was talking about all of the like the product design and everything else, this set is a 10 out of 10. Like there is no argument. This set is a perfect 10 for me if you're considering all those factors. I'm trying to talk about purely just the 100 cards of Clash of the Star Trees.
Okay, in that case, I will also amend. This will probably change as we learn how these rulers like actually work and whether they're gonna have a significant impact on the metagame or not. They seem to be poised to do that. I would say this is between. I mean, gosh, are there? If I'm hard pressed, I'm just gonna give it a 9, like right off the bat, right? Um,
I get more wine.
like
Keep talking, Paul.
so like as I was sorting out like my collection because I got my pre-release kit and my box ahead of time now that TCG Prime has that available for us. Um, so I was cracking this pack and I was cracking this stuff. The PR kits were really solid in that I got everything I needed, and so I was able to like kind of like look through everything. And there's not a lot of chaff in this set, right? And that's always been
Yeah.
like a real source of like, especially the new set design for Force of Will. Um, there's never been a lot of chaff. Uh, Green is not the best color in this set by any stretch. In fact, Maya to me is probably the most underpowered of the rulers, but she's not useless. Um, there's a lot of green cards that I'm just simply not interested in using, but there are some like the Spirit that are like, holy crap, this feels a huge niche that like this color identity did not have. So the fact that we had these 100 cards and they all kind of tried to tick different boxes. I mean, this is one of the premium sets for me, especially because it's
Yeah.
really useful for new players to get into because it's just like, oh yeah, all of these cards are like contained to this set. So if you just like want a PR kit or like 2 boxes, you're gonna get a lot of really good promos in it, but
Yeah.
you're also gonna be getting some really good standalone decks that are actually gonna be meaningful to you. Um, and so I mean, yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's just
Yeah.
that's good.
For me,
That's
for me,
good.
this set is a solid. Like looking at it, it's straight. Like not like the set standalone by itself. This is a 9 out of 10 for me. Like this set absolutely knocks it out of the park. It does everything that I want out of a FOW set. It has excellent cards that are like new introductory stuff, but it doesn't creep out the stuff that we've seen in the past. It gives me new techniques for both recent rulers and older rulers. It encourages me to want to go back and experiment more with the Wanderer crowd. It serves as an easy on ramp for new players. It gives a lot of versatility. It encourages deck creativity, and also it gives, like I said, super easy on ramp in the sense that I have already, with what I've opened so far, and I still have more to open. um, I have built 4 starter decks for every single one of the 7-star rulers, complete and done and ready to just hand out at locals. Starter decks being, and for those of you who are watching, if you have extra cards, this is what I encourage you to build with: a ruler, 2 of their contract, 2 of their skill super rare, and then a play set of all their monocolor cards. It gets you to exactly 40 cards, except for Niklaus, who gets you to 44 because there's 10 there's 9 blue cards outside of the super rare and the contract. He gets like 3 flowers, and that kind of boosts him up. But with that lineup, you get a 40 or 44 card monocolor starter deck that you can just hand to someone and easily build it, like, and just enjoy the game. From where I am at, that automatically is huge. Being able to just use all of my extra stuff and go, here's a fully functioning playable deck that you can just try Force of Will with.
Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah, absolutely. And then, like I said, when you consider the promo reprints, what you'll see on Wednesday when we do our full box opening video, and like everything else, this set's a 10 out of 10. Like, best set in years, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Like this whole cluster, like they had to course correct from the very beginning, but like this is the best set they've made yet. And I've said that often in this game. This design team has just done such a good job of bringing value to the player base in every product that they release. This is like how you create a card set for your players, right? Um, there's a particular community having a particular conversation right now about how do we bring more value to the sets of the things of the card game that we release. Take a look at Force of Will, because they're doing it right. The second thing is I forget.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm glad we gave our score. There you go. So average out all to go through between the three of us. This is like an 8.75 out of 10 for the Ruler School Teachers Lounge podcast for this set. So that's pretty high rating. I like that a lot.
I guess it.
Good math there, Jeremy.
I remember it now. The thing that makes me wonder is what would make this set a 10 out of 10? Like, what would make this the best set in Force of Will history by far? A 10 out of 10?
A usable gods art for the extension rule.
No, for me, I think it would be a 100. I'd want it to be a 130 card set and just flush it out with maybe like a 120 card set and just give me like 20 more cards that aren't skills, but are like on the par of what we see with like the high, but like kind of like on the like flexibility, versatility, like good elements of like the Hide's Help or like the Staring Ats in terms of like cool ideas. Just give me a little bit more that aren't skill locked, and maybe like one more skill for each of the rulers, right? Like, so to add like a little bit more set to it, just to kind of like extend what you were already doing. And I think that for me would make it a 10 out of 10. So I do want to talk about this. Ban list is coming. And more so that it's supposed to be coming out this week, and it's the unban list, provided they stick to their wording about what they're planning on saying about how they're just going to, the first list post Worlds will only be unbans, and they said at least 10 things are going to be unbanned. So I have had a lot of conversations with a lot of people, and I kind of hope they back out of saying they're only going to unban stuff. I would not mind if they go back on it at that point and do some bans too. Not that I think there's anything outright ban worthy that's just like, this has to happen or it's going to become a bad format. You know what I mean? But it's like, if you're trying to improve the game state, these are just very easy things that you could hit. And I have a list. Here's my list. Don't take Gretel off. You're absolutely insane. Patrick, get out. Absolutely.
I guess the first one on your list.
I'm putting him in time. I'm putting you in timeout. Hold on. I'm putting Patrick in timeout. Patrick's in timeout.
Yeah, anyway,
you're in No, you're in timeout.
Jimmy, can I guess the first two on your list?
Go for it.
Change the World, Orb of Illusion, and Interdimensional Vessel Apollo.
You got one of them right, actually.
Nice.
It wasn't Apollo. It wasn't Apollon.
Very interesting. That wasn't Apollo, but yeah. Continue.
Anyway, this is not the custom. By the way,
right?
By the way, this is not the custom FowFest ban list. No, this is not the custom FowFest ban list. Okay,
correct.
Here's my list. After talking with a lot of people, here's what I come with, and this is I Spy handed the reins to Jeremy and said, "Make the changes you want to the ban list. Here you go."
Which list? Okay, gotcha.
Here's this.
Oh, that's a good.
This
point.
is assume.
This is a good question.
It says 10 things unbanned include combo and bans. Yes, I think it's a ban / uncombo bans. So here is the Jeremy Franklin. We said we would only unban things, but we lied. We gave Jeremy full control over the ban list. Here's your list. Unbanned. Change the World, Law of Silence, True Blade of Spirits, and Origins of the Seven Lands. Unbanned.
Yeah. Definitely done to the last one.
Banned Poseidon, the Olympian, Phantasmal Ascendant, Child of the Light Moon, and Dexia's Advice.
I will agree with you 100% on Child of the Light Moon, because I don't know a single Forceful player that has enjoyed playing a game with or against Child of the Light Moon decks.
Anyway, so that's it. Our uncombo bans, all the relevant combo bans affected by the above bans and everything else. Invitation to Valhalla plus Brad changed to Brad plus Library. So you can have Invitation to Valhalla with Brad, but you can't have Brad plus Library anymore. Unbanned Alice Order and Tales of Fantasia. Unbanned Zhuge Liang plus Conclave. Unbanned Antibody and Blood. unban Eternal and Arc Grail. Iga and Rocket Dive swapped to Iga and Glowing Spider. Welser and Sword of Progression allowed to come back. Machina and Little Maria allowed to come back. Last Secret Sword and Messiah allowed to come back. Raging Messiah. And this one's, I'm not super sold on it, but also I think it's probably fine at this point with what we have. Atomic Turbulence and Bahamut. And Atomic Bahamut.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Violet have full power back. New combo bands. Pumpkin Witch plus Institute.
I agree.
Like,
Wait,
that's
I
Kilo
am
once
not
again
responsible for that.
Oh, it's Witch and Phantasmal Ascendant that were combo.
Yeah.
Mind.
Pumpkin Witch plus
Continue.
plus Institute. Killua once again getting barely touched. I hate it. Taking Phantasmal Ascendant out from Killua is, I think, just fine. Like, I think just fine. That hits that deck a lot. Pumpkin Witch plus Institute is gone.
Yeah.
Now, this is the make myself very, very clear. Very, very clear. This is not the official list, and it is not when we will be playing for FowFest. This is just
As much as
Jeremy's thoughts about what he would do if he were in control. Very, very clear. I think it's fine. Yeah, so that's me. That's my thoughts.
I'm gonna be real, Jeremy.
Right.
Why the fuck is setting the stage for Providence and Magic Stone of Rain still on here?
So no, I want that gone. Uncancelable setting the stage of Providence. Absolutely not.
I just don't see
Absolutely
it.
not.
I've never in my life seen a game where somebody's like,
True Blade was unbanned.
Setting the stage.
True Blade was an unban, I said. Yeah.
Just for the meme.
Yeah, honestly, just for the meme. I don't know. I feel like I'm still not a huge fan of the combination ban list. I feel like there's a lot of cards in here that, like, I just feel like there's a lot of cards in here that I clearly see, like, where one is the clear, like, problem child out of the two of them that should just be banned in general. But I digress.
Well, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I just mentioned does clean up the ban list pretty significantly.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the cards that I just talked about cleans it up pretty significantly. I did miss one. I apologize. I missed one that I wanted to remove. I wanted to remove one more unban. Inferno and Summon the Dragon of Death.
Yeah, I don't know a single time I've ever heard anybody talk about Summon the Dragon of Death.
Well, it's just because, like, they didn't want to do the Belial combo at home, so they just were like, we're just going to not allow it at the beginning. But, like, that's fine. Let them have it. Let that Inferno combo have one deck. That's fine.
Simping for Rustin.
Yeah, for sure. That would be my custom list. I would let Inferno and Summon the Dragon of Death exist.
I'm just gonna make a wish list at some point that's just like, if I could clean the combination ban list, these would be banned. But that's just me.
Atomic Turbulence plus Atomic Bahamut, I think we have a lot more things to mess with that. Especially with Muse staring at everything else that just hard punishes that deck. It just has a lot more answers to it. Because, like, they go to Atomic Turbulence, you go, cool, Muse staring at. Not only did I, like, that's fine. Like, okay, I can't cast anything else for the turn. You also can't cast Bahamut. Like, cool.
Why is Mikage Ray and Zombie returning from the Pyramid of the Dead still combo banned?
That can't exist. And so here's one of the reasons. I actually talked with Alejandro about this. The reason why this can't exist is because it just becomes every control deck's win con. every control deck just plays four Rhea and 4 Paramita, and they just go, I'm never going to play a card during my turn. At the end of your turn, I'm going to flash it a Rhea, mill a zombie, have 11 on board, go to my turn, call stone, pass, and like kill you. Like it just becomes every control deck's win con. Absolutely, you just can't bring it.
I don't know. I'm
so you're not taking off Hanzo and Kaguya.
No, absolutely not. Never allowed.
Explain your reasoning, sir.
Why is Hanzo not just banned? Like, it's not being used if it's I'm banned with like 2 things that use it. Like, that's just, I don't know. It's clearly the problem. Like, it's clearly the problem here. Setting the stage is clearly the problem in those instances. Like, I don't know. Whisper from the Abyss is always going to be a problem. I don't know why it was ever unbanned, but that's just me. Whatever. That card's never done a fair thing in its entire existence. Ever.
This is full power Violet and Welser Sword, but you're the insane. So keep in mind, Welser Sword is fine to be allowed because Welser still doesn't have Prisia, and Generate Replicant is full banned. So like letting Welser have the sword, but taking away Generate Replicant is a big hit to that deck. Like you get that's fine. Without Generate Replicant, Welser Sword has significantly less strength.
Yeah, it's just good synergy at that point, right?
Yeah, it's just a good synergistic card. You don't have Generate Replicant.
I'm gonna make a bold claim right here, boys. Are you ready for this shit?
Yeah.
We always are.
Cards that were banned, that came out in the same set, that were banned upon that set's release, should not be on the combination ban list. It's clearly a card that should be banned there. I'm gonna die on that hill. Continue.
I give that like a tepid take in terms of temperature.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's fine.
To say combo ban or Carlina Asmodeus, you just play Carlina Astema at that point.
Yeah, you just play Carlina. Carlina's like the best fucking ruler.
No, like you just can't. You just can't. Like,
sorry,
Carlina Asmodeus was not the problem. Carlina was the problem.
Oops, 3 mana. Whoops.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. But that's going to be it for us for tonight. Again, this week is probably when we'll see the ban list update. We'll see if the company follows through. If with saying that there's just going to be unbans, I could honestly see them still just deciding, like, actually, you know what? We've decided to make some changes. We've decided to do bans and combo bans. I wouldn't be mad at that, right? Especially because we do have, some major events, and I think that there are some very easy things that they could do to impact the meta in a healthy way. But I'm excited to see what comes off the ban list regardless.
Jeremy, if you could have any cards on the ban list errata the way that we had Origin.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm not going to do that.
All right. That's a discussion for next time.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to errata stuff. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, nope. Refuse. There's nothing on this ban list that wants me to I do have one thing that I could do if there's an errata to bring something to bring something off of the ban list in order to errata.
Go ahead. Like go off, King. Tell us.
I'd change Warhorse to a God's Art.
I can appreciate that.
Okay.
If they're just like, Jeremy, you can change one card however you want and we'll take it off the ban list, I would change Warhorse to a God's Art.
I would change Gretel to getting a stone that is not a wind magic stone, but can still produce wind.
And keep this in mind, for Warhorse, because it's a God's Art, that would require Warhorse to resolve twice. The Warhorse would be, the God's Art lets you attempt to cast the card for free, and then you can cast the card for free, right? So that to me is like, then not only can you only do it once, but then there's 2 stages of being able to punish a Warhorse cast. That's how I would run that. That'd be the errata.
I was to say Warhorse is an easy fix. Ooh.
The card burns itself at resolution.
Just tap it and just
way to fix it.
It's gone.
Tear this card to pieces. Any cards that it falls on have swiftness until end of turn. just chaos confetti.
Yeah, for sure. Very cool. Anyway, that's it for us tonight. Looking
Kratos swirls and just like the ashes become part of your skin and you're like, unbelievable.
So for some announcements of what's going on this week, on Wednesday we will have our gonna wait for Mike to be done talking.
Sorry.
On
We're
Wednesday this week.
now.
Stop talking. On Wednesday this week, we will have our premiere of our double box opening of the new set, Clash of the Star Trees, so you'll be able to check that out. You're not going to want to miss it. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. And then also on Wednesday evening, we will be having our pre-release live stream for Odyssey Games. Look forward to seeing that and seeing us play the new cards. I'm pretty sure we figured out the structure of how we want to do pre-release based on what I've heard everyone say. They tried different things, and I think we figured out the best way to do it, which we'll explain that in there. And then next week we're going to try to get new set stuff. And then probably later this week, you'll see some kind of discussion. And probably next week, Monday, we'll talk about the design of the new set in terms of like the boxes and stuff, as well as the new ban list that will drop sometime this week. So thank you all so much for watching. Please go consider getting your hotel room for FowFest. We are closing, like, you have until October 6th to get your hotel block reserved, and we are, like, the slots are filling up, so please make sure that you get your hotel reserved, and keep in mind that you do not have to pay for your hotel room until you get to the venue, so you will certainly want to get signed up for that as quickly as possible. But thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, this has been myself, DMO73, and I've been joined by Paul Reisman.
All right, 4 on the floor, rulers.
And Mike Rance.
All right, rulers, 8 on the floor. Double up whatever Paul just told you to do. Have some fun.
Say class dismissed.